Good morning. This is K. Shyam Babu going to discuss about the digital signal processing. So, first of all, we have to discuss about the definition of signal. How the signal is defined? What is signal? As we already studied in your signals and systems class. So, how the signal is defined is signal is a function of one or more independent variables. It is defined as a function of one or more independent variables. So which carries some information, or we can define a signal as it is a physical quantity that varies with time, space, and so on. So we have one dimensional signal or n dimensional signals. If it is varied with only one variable, then that is called one dimensional signal. If it is varied with n number of variables, then it is called n dimensional signal, like two dimensional signal, three dimensional signal, four dimensional signal, like that. Okay, one dimensional signal, two dimensional signal, like that. So for example, if you take voice signal, speech signal, and ECG signals, so this is the definition of signal. Similarly, if you take the types of signals, so here basically the signals are classified into two types: continuous time signal and discrete time signal. What is meant by continuous time signal? Continuous time signal is nothing but it is continuous for all time t, from minus infinity to plus infinity. It is continuously flowing, that is called continuous time signal. So what is meant by discrete time signal? Discrete time signal means it is flowing at a distant instance of time. It means that if you know the process of sampling, do you know the process of sampling? So sampling, how it is defined? Sampling is nothing but the continuous time signal is frozen for some time, and it can be divided into equal intervals of time. This is called sampling process. So the continuous time signal can be frozen for some time. It means that we can take the sample of the continuous time signal. It can be frozen for some time, and it can be divided into equal intervals of time. So that is called DT signal, discrete time signal. Continuous time signal is represented by x of t, whereas discrete time signal is represented by x of n. So coming to the system, so here the system is defined as it is interconnection of components. If we take our PC, if we take PC, so we will connect the physical components, then PC will form, right? So it is interconnection of components. So it is physical device that generates response. Response means output. Output for a given input. If x of t is given as the input signal, then y of t is its output. Okay. So similarly, there are two types of systems. Those are continuous time system and discrete time system. What is meant by continuous time system? It operates at continuous time signal and produces continuous time signal as output. See, see, it is the example for the continuous time system. So it is continuous time signal system. It will take continuous time signal x of t, and it will give the continuous time signal y of t as the output. So it can represent it mathematically as y of t equal to transformation of the input time signal x of t. Y of t is the response or output. Y of t is equal to transformation of x of t. Similarly, discrete time system. Discrete time system means it will operate discrete time instance at discrete time instance. So it can operate on discrete time and produces discrete time signal as the output signal. So as we already know that the discrete time signal can be represented as x of n. So its response is y of n. So y of n is the transformation of input time signal x of n. Okay. So it is represented y of n is equal transformation of x of n. Okay, so it was already discussed, the continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So continuous time signal is continuous for all time t. Discrete time signal is it will be available at discrete instance of time. Okay, so from the definition of the sampling function, so continuous time signal can be frozen for some time, and it can be divided into equal intervals of time. Okay. Next, coming to the elementary discrete time sequences. elementary discrete time sequences. So it is here we have 6 elementary discrete time sequences are there. So first one is unit step sequence, unit ramp sequence, unit impulse sequence, exponential sequence, sinusoidal sequence, and complex exponential sequence. So unit step sequence, unit ramp sequence, unit impulse sequence, exponential sequence, sinusoidal sequence, and complex exponential sequence. These are all elementary discrete time sequences. First of all, if you take the first one, unit step sequence, so as we know the definition of unit step function, that is u of t. Suppose if you take continuous time unit step function, so it is represented as u of t equal to t for t is greater than or equal to 0, and it is equal to 0 for n for t is less than 0. But here it is a discrete time signal, that's why it is represented as u of n is equal to 1 for n is greater than or equal to 0, and it is 0 for n is less than 0. So the graphical representation of u of n may be represented as follows. This is from 0 to infinity, its value is 1. In discrete manner, it is represented like this. So from 0 to plus infinity, its value is unity. Okay. Next, coming to the second one, unit ramp sequence. So in discrete time, so unit ramp sequence can be represented as R of n is equal to n for n is greater than or equal to 0, and it is 0 for n is less than 0. Okay, it is n for n is greater than or equal to 0, and it is 0 for n is less than 0. So its graphical representation of R of n may be represented as like this. From 0 to infinity, it is represented like this. It is like a ramp signal. So at 0 its value is 0, at 1 its value is 1. It means that R of n and n, if n is 0 it is 0, if n is 1 it is 1, if n is 2 it is 2, if n is 3 it is 3, like this. So we will get a ramp signal as the output. Okay. Next, coming to the third one, unit impulse sequence. As we know the definition of impulse function, so it exists only at n equal to 0, otherwise its value is 0. So it is represented as delta of n is equal to 1 for n is equal to 0, and it is 0 for n is not equal to 0. So its graphical representation is represented as at 0 it exists, at 0 it exists, otherwise its value is 0. Okay. Next, coming to the exponential sequence. See, these are all the elementary sequences of okay, elementary discrete time sequences. Coming to the exponential sequence, so exponential sequence is represented as x of n is equal to a power n for all values of n. X of n is equal to a power n for all values of n. This exponential sequence can be defined on the value of a, that is a is greater than 1, or a is in between 0 and 1, or a is less than 1. A may be greater than 1 or less than 0, or it may be in between 0 and 1. Okay, this is exponential sequence, a power n, x of n equal to a power n. Next, sinusoidal sequence. So the discrete time sinusoidal sequence can be defined as x, or it is represented as x of n is equal to a cos omega naught n plus phi. A cos a is amplitude, omega naught is nothing but angular frequency, phi is phase angle. Okay, so omega naught is measured in radians per samples, phi is degrees. Okay, by using the Euler's identity, the above expression, that is x of n is equal to a cos omega naught n plus phi, can be written as x of n is equal to a by 2 e power j phi e power j n omega naught plus a by 2 e power minus j phi into e power minus j n omega naught. This is called Euler's identity. So we are representing the above expression a cos omega naught n plus phi in Euler's identity, that is a by 2 e power j phi into e power j n omega naught plus a by 2 e power minus j phi into e power minus j n omega naught. This is nothing but the sinusoidal sequence. Next, last one is complex exponential sequence. Complex exponential sequence. So complex exponential, already we know the exponential sequence, and this is complex exponential sequence. It is defined as x of n is equal to a power n into e power j omega naught n plus phi. Or we can write this as e power n into this is e power j theta. So e power j theta is cos theta plus j sin theta. Like that, we can represent e power j omega naught n plus phi as cos omega naught n plus phi plus j sin omega naught n plus phi. Okay, it is a power n into cos omega naught n plus phi plus j sin omega naught n plus phi. Okay, this is called complex exponential sequence. Next, coming to the representation of discrete time signals, how these signals are represented. Here we have four different ways to represent the discrete time signals. Okay, these are graphical representation, functional representation, tabular representation, and sequence representation. Graphical representation, how the signal is represented graphically, how the signal is represented functionally. Functionally means in the means of function. How it is represented by tabular representation. Then sequence representation. See, one by one we will see. So first of all, we will see the graphical representation of the signal. So graphical representation like a graph. So here the signal x of n is having different values like x of minus 1 equal to 0, x of 0 equal to 1, x of 1 equal to 2, and x of 2 equal to 3. These four values are represented graphically like this. X of 0 value is 1. Okay, x of minus 1 value is 0, x of 1 value is 2, x of 2 value is 3. So this is called a graphical representation. Next, functional representation. So functional representation means it means of function. So the discrete time signal x of n can be represented in the form of functional representation as x of n is equal to minus 2 for n equal to 2, minus 1 for n equal to 1, it is 0 for n equal to 0, and 1 for n equal to minus 1, 2 for n equal to minus 2. Like this. This is a functional representation of our signal x of n. Functional representation of our signal x of n. Next, coming to the tabular representation. Tabular representation, it means of tabular form. Okay, so it is represented like this. Tabular representation x of n. If we take n and x of n values, so n is minus 1, minus 2, 0, like this. If n is minus 1, x of n value is 0. N is minus 2, x of n value is 1. N is 0, x of n value is 2. N is 1, x of n value is 3. N is 2, x of n is 4. Like this. So this is called tabular representation. And last one is sequence representation in the form of sequence. So the finite duration sequence x of n, the time origin for n equal to 0 can be represented by an arrow. This is the arrow, upward arrow. For example, x of n equal to a function of 1, 2, minus 1, and minus 2, and we'll put the arrow at 1. So it is nothing but a sequence representation. It will start if x of n is 0, x of 0 is 1, x of 1 is 2, x of 2 is minus 1, and x of 3 is minus 2, like this. Okay, it is the sequence representation. Then coming to the classification of discrete time signals, how these discrete time signals are classified. Okay, see, basically it is represented uh, the classification is here the discrete time signals are classified into four ways, that is energy and power signals. Second one is periodic and aperiodic signals. Third one is symmetric and asymmetric signals, and last one is casual and non-casual systems. Okay, energy and power signals, periodic and aperiodic. Aperiodic means non-periodic signals. Symmetric and asymmetric signals, causal and non-causal signals. Okay, first one is energy and power signals. So energy and power signal, as we know the energy signal, the mathematical representation of energy signal as E equal to sigma n is minus infinity to infinity mod x of n whole square. E equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity infinity mod x of n whole square. Similarly, the power signal can be defined as P equal to capital P equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus 1 sigma small n tends to minus capital N to plus capital N mod x of n whole square. These two are related like this. Energy signal is sigma n equal to minus infinity to infinity mod x of n whole square, whereas power signal P is limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus 1 into small n tends to minus n to n mod x of n whole square. Okay, then coming to the periodic and aperiodic signals. What is meant by periodic signal? which satisfies the condition x of n equal to x of n plus capital N, where capital N is some positive constant. Okay, so it has to satisfy the condition. If the signal has to satisfy the condition x of n is equal to x of n plus capital N, where capital N is some positive constant. So this, if the signal is satisfied this condition, then it is called a periodic signal. Otherwise, it is non-periodic signal. Okay. So for n equal to 4, then we will represent like this: 1 2 0 1 2 3 4. This is the x of n value, and n plus n. This is the x of n value. Okay, up to 4. It will be repeated like this. Okay. All right. Next, symmetric and asymmetric signals. What is meant by symmetric signal? Symmetric signal or even signal. Do you know the definition of even signal? If x of n is the original signal, then x of n is equal to minus n. X of minus n, then that is called even signal or symmetric signal. It means that it is a mirror image of the given signal. If it sets, if these two signals are equal, if the original signal is equal to its mirror image, that is x of minus n, then that is called symmetric signal. So x of n equal to x of minus n. Next, for example, a cos omega n is the symmetric signal. Next, a signal is said to be odd symmetry or asymmetric signal. It must satisfy the condition x of minus n, that is mirror image, is equal to the reflection of the original signal. X of minus n, that is even signal, is equal to negative signal minus of x of n. Minus of x of n. X of minus n is nothing but its even signal. Minus of x of n is nothing but minus of x of n is nothing but its opposite signal. So that is the odd signal. Okay. So if it satisfies the condition minus of x of n is equal to x of minus n, or x of n is equal to minus of x of minus n. Okay, it's a reversal. It's a reversal. Okay. So a discrete time signal x of n can be represented as x of n is equal to, here we will write this x of n as a combination of even and odd functions. That is x of n equal to xe of n plus x naught of n, xe of n plus x naught of n. If you replace this plus n by minus n, then x of minus n is equal to xe of minus n plus x naught of xe. It is not, it is o, xo of minus n. Okay. So according to the definition, x of minus n is equal to xe of minus n is nothing but xe of n. Xo of minus n is nothing but xo of n. So x of minus n is equal to xe of n plus xo of n. So combining x of n and x of minus n, by adding these two equations, then we will get x of n plus x of minus n equal 2 into xe of n. Similarly, so from this expression, xe of n is equal to x of n plus x of minus n by 2. Similarly, by subtracting x of minus n from x of n, we will get xo of n is equal to x of n minus x of minus n by 2. So symmetric means it is an even signal, that is that satisfies the condition x of n is equal to x of minus n. Asymmetric means it is odd function, odd symmetry, that is x of minus n is equal to minus of x of n, or x of n is equal to minus of x of minus n. Okay, minus of x of minus n. So this is the symmetric and asymmetric signals. Next one is causal and non-causal systems. Causal and non-causal. What is meant by causal system? Causal signal. A signal is said to be causal if its value is equal to 0 for n is less than 0. Otherwise, it is said to be non-causal system. Its value is less than 0 for n is less than 0. Then it is called causal system. So, example, causal signal is x of n equal to a power n into u of n. Whereas non-causal signal is x of n equal to a power n into u of minus n plus 1. u of minus n plus 1. So these are the classification of the signals. Okay, what are the classification of the signals? Energy and power signals. Okay, symmetric and asymmetric signals, periodic and non-periodic signals, periodic and aperiodic signals, and finally causal and non-causal signals. Coming in the same manner, we have the classification of discrete time systems. Discrete time systems. These are static and dynamic systems, causal and non-causal systems, linear and non-linear systems, time variant and time invariant systems, FIR and IIR systems, stable and unstable systems. Okay, like this six classifications are there in systems. Static and dynamic systems, causal and non-causal systems, linear and non-linear systems, time invariant and time variant systems, FIR and IIR systems, stable and unstable systems. Okay, first one is static and dynamic systems. Static and dynamic system. A discrete time signal is said to be static if its output at any instant of the time depends on the input samples. So it depends on the present state of the system. Output depends on the present state of the system. Okay. See, for example, y of n equals some constant a into x of n. It means that the present state of the input signal. While output depends on the present state of the input signal for static systems. Whereas coming to the non-static systems or dynamic systems. Dynamic systems, the output y of n depends upon the x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2. N minus 1 means it's past output, past past state. N plus 2 is future state. It depends upon the past and future states of the input values. Then it is a dynamic system. Okay. Similarly, causal and non-causal systems. So static means the present output of the system depends upon the present state of the system, and dynamic means the output depends upon the past and future state of the system. Okay, next coming to the causal and non-causal systems, then the system is said to be causal if the output of the system at any time depends only at the present and past inputs, but does not depend on the future inputs. See, for example, y of n equal to function of x of n, x of n minus 2, n minus 1, etc. X of n is present state, n minus 1 is past state, n minus 2 is also past state. So the output depends upon the present and past states of the system. Then it is a causal system. Next, coming to the non-causal system, the output depends on future inputs. The system is said to be non-causal system. Okay, so it is represented as y of n is x of 2n plus x of n plus 1. So these are future states of the system. Then it is called non-causal system. Next, coming to the linear and non-linear systems. Linear system. What is meant by linear system? If it obeys the superposition theorem, a system is said to be linear system. It satisfies the homogeneity and superposition theorems. Homogeneity means uh, here we are representing the system as a weighted sum of the function, weighted sum of the signals, and it should be equal to the corresponding weighted sum of the outputs of the system. This is a homogeneity and superposition principle. So, which satisfies the homogeneity and the superposition principle, then it is called a linear system. It is represented like this. Yeah, transformation of a into x1 of n plus b into x2 of n is equal to some a into transformation of x1 of n plus b into transformation of x2 of n. Here, a and b's are some arbitrary constants, weights, some weights. Okay, a system that does not satisfy the superposition and homogeneity principle, it is called a non-linear system. Then coming to the time invariant and time variant systems. Time invariant system and time variant system. A system is said to be time invariant or shift invariant if it is a characteristics of the system does not change with time invariant. So the characteristic does not change. It does not depends upon the time. For the time invariant system, If y of n is the response of the system to the input x of n, then response of the system to the input x of n minus k is y of n minus k only. So here it does not depends upon the system. Y of n minus k equal transformation of x of n minus k. If it is not equal to transformation of x of n minus k, then the system is said to be time variant. It completely depends upon the time. For time variant systems, it's completely depend upon the time. Okay. If it is not depend upon the time, then it is called time invariant system. Okay, a linear time invariant system LT satisfies the basic characteristics in the time invariant properties. Then coming to the FIR and the IIR system, if the impulse response of the system is of finite duration, then the system is called FIR system. Impulse response means it exists only at n equal to 0. If h of n is defined as 1 for n equal to minus 1, it is 2 for n is 0, and is 3 for n equal to 1, then it is called FIR system. A system has an impulse response for infinite duration is called IIR system. It is represented by a power n into u of n. So it is represented during limited boundaries, then it is called FIR system. It is represented during infinite duration, and it is called IIR system. Here h of n is equal to 1 for n is minus 1, 2 for n is 0, 3 for n equal to 1. This is FIR system, and IIR is represented as impulse response for infinite duration. So that is represented by h of n equal to a power n into u of n. Then coming to the stable and unstable system. Stable and unstable system. Linear time invariant system is stable if it produces a bounded output sequence for every bounded input sequence. It means that certain finite duration. It is nothing but certain finite duration. If for some bounded input sequence x of n, the output is unbounded, the system is called unstable. The necessary and sufficient condition for stability is sigma n is minus infinity to infinity mod of h of n is less than infinity. It means that it is some finite value. It should not infinite value. It is some finite value. Okay. So sigma n equal minus infinity to infinity, mod of h of n must be less than infinity. So this is a stable system. If it does not satisfy this condition, then it is called unstable system. Then we will see some problems. Test the stability of the system whose impulse response h of n is equal to 1 by 2 whole power n into u of n. We have to test the stability of the system. As we already know, the stability condition is sigma n is minus infinity to infinity, mod h of n must be less than infinity. It means that it should have some finite value. So what is the given data? H of n is equal to 1 by 2 whole power n into u of n. That is sigma n is minus infinity infinity 1 by 2 whole power n into u of n. So we'll write this limits n is minus infinity 0 and 0 to infinity. So it is u of n, then minus infinity to 0 value is 0. It exists only from 0 to infinity. So that is sigma n equal 0 to infinity 1 by 2 whole power n into u of n. So if we take sigma equal to n naught to 0 1 of n whole power, if we expand this, then we will get 1 plus x square plus x cube up to infinity. It is in the form of 1 plus alpha square plus alpha cube plus up to it is by simplify this we will get 1 by 1 minus alpha or 1 by 1 minus x. So it is equal to 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2, that is 2, which is less than infinity. Then we can say that the system is stable. Plus 2 is some finite value. So system is stable. Okay. Test the given system for time invariant or not. So we have to test for its time invariance. So what is the given data? Y of n equal to n into x of n. What is a time invariant system condition? It depends upon the present state of the system. So y of n equal to n into x of n, n into x of n. So what is given here? N into x of n. So the given system is time variant or time invariant or not. So it is given as n equal to x of n. X of n is present state, so it is time invariant. Okay. If it is not equal to that condition, then it is a time invariant system. So determine whether the following system given by y of n equal to log 10 x of n is causal or not. So it is log x of n to the base 10. For n equal to 0, y of 0 is log x of n, that is x of 0 to the base 10. For n equal to minus 1, so it is x of minus 1 to the base 10. So the given system is a causal system. Okay. Causal system, what is the causal system condition? We have to check for the values. Causal system, go to the causal system. See here see here it depends upon the present and past value, past state of the system. Okay. Present and past states. Okay, it depends upon the present state. Okay, it is causal. So next one is determine whether the system defined by y of n equal to x of minus n square minus 2 is a time variant or not. Time variant or not. So what is the given system, given problem? Y of n equal to x of minus n square minus 2. Okay, or y of n minus k equal to x of minus n minus k square minus 2. So it is a time variant system. It depends upon the time. It depends upon the time. We are varying the time. It is also varying. Okay. Okay. Then test the following system for the invariant. Time invariant. Y of n is given as n of x square n. Okay. So y of n minus k is not equal to y of not transformation of x of n minus k. So it is time variant, time variant system. Okay, like this. See some problems. So I am closing the today's session. So in the next class we'll see these problems. Okay, we'll see from problem 5 in the next class. Okay, thank you.